Miller's Tire and Auto Care. Need to hire experienced technicians, oil change, tire technician, tow truck drivers, exceptional benefits and pay. Drop your resume off at Miller's Tire on the Big Hill Avenue location. 4 high schools, 7 middle schools, 1 college, and a university, and much more. Now introducing your most comprehensive weekly local sports show in Madison County, the Richmond Register Sports Show. The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by MetroNet, superfast internet, simply a better connection. Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. Wynn's Auto Detailing Service. Platinum Roofing, Solar and Green Solutions. Voted Richmond's best roofer 7 years in a row. And by kymedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms. Here's your host for all things local sports, the Richmond Register sports editor, Nathan Hutchison.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. My name is Nathan Hutchinson, and I'm the sports editor of the Richmond Register. And we very much appreciate you tuning us in this week. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to show you a little video segment that Randy and I shot yesterday on a cold Saturday afternoon over at the EKU intramural fields. But Wes Browne and his Madison Mavericks lacrosse team were nice enough to kind of give us a little tutorial, a little lacrosse 101, we'll call it. But we spent quite a bit of time out there, and it showed us, Wes was great in showing us the rules of the game, the equipment of the game, the strategy of the game. So stick with us, and we're going to have that in just a few minutes. It's very interesting. But before we do that, we want to start off the show the way we always start off the show, and that is with a recap of the week that was in Madison County sports. And Kentucky High School Athletic Association spring sports are finally all in full bloom. But, of course, Mother Nature put a kibosh on a lot of the games last week because of not only rain and cold and wind, but we did have a few games. And the highlight of the week, Wednesday night, a 44th District softball matchup down in Berea between Madison Central and Madison Southern. And it was the Lady Indians opening up the season with an 18-3 4-inning victory over their longtime cross-county rivals, Cassidy Hack and Andrea Linton. Both hit home runs. Madison Central finished with 16 hits. Shelby Hensley had 3 hits. Kirsten Osborne walked 3 times, scored 4 runs, and had 2 RBIs. And Cassidy Hack also had 5 RBIs as well, as the Lady Indians got off to a great start to the season with an 18-3 4-inning victory. And afterwards, we got a chance to talk to Coach Randy Hall and Brooklyn Gilbo. All right, we're here at Madison Southern High School where the Lady Indians have opened up the season with a 18-3 run rule victory over Madison Southern. Coach Randy Hall, Brooklyn Gilbo, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Coach, you guys hit 17 home runs last year. You started off today with 2 more and had a couple off the wall as well, so your kids just keep thumping the ball.
Yeah, it seems like they were able to see the ball pretty well tonight. So I know they were anxious to get out here, as I'm sure Southern was too. That first game, there's always a little bit of jitters. Honestly, I think everybody won because we didn't play on Monday. We moved it to Wednesday, so the weather was a whole lot better. So, but we came out and played a pretty good overall game.
Yeah, Brooklyn, you had a couple of hits, couple RBIs. Everybody was swinging the bats good for first game.
It was good. We were all a little nervous. We didn't want to come in any cocky because they put run against Catholics, so we knew that. But we held our own.
Yeah, you went with Cassidy in the circle, and early on a little struggle, but as you might expect from the first outing of the year, but she came through and finished up great, struck out the side in the 4th.
Yeah, I think she ended up with like 8 strikeouts throughout. But yeah, I mean, they're going to be able to hit the ball. We're not going to blow everybody away. But our defense is generally good enough to help us through. But Andrea last year got to pitch against Southern in the season, and then Jazz got to pitch against them in the district. So I wanted to give Cass and see how they would hit against Cass.
Yeah, and a couple home runs there. Yeah, which one went further?
I think Cassidy's did. We were all hyped for Cassidy.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I know I was telling the girls on the bench, the thing about Andrea is that Andrea didn't start. So when she came in, and I told them in her first at bat, I was telling the girls, she took the first 2 pitches, so she didn't come in over anxious and try to do too much. And I said, you watch this is going to pay off. And then when she got up in the second at bat, she took 2 and then found one that she ran into. So.
Yeah, and you guys have a great dugout over there. You got lots of energy, lots of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
Who's leading the charge in there?
Carly, she's the loudest, so she likes to scream.
All right. Well, congratulations. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Well, a big win to open the season, and then one day later, the Lady Indians were back on the diamond. This time at home, taking on Mercer County, and they rolled to another big victory. This time, 15-0 in 3 innings. 2 more home runs. This time, it was Shelby Hensley and Jasmine Kaler. 16 more hits in this game. It was Gilbo and Kirsten Osborne with 3 hits each. Jasmine Kaler picked up the 3-inning no-hitter. She walked just 1, and that moves the Lady Indians to 2-0 on the season. And they were, like a lot of other teams in the county, were supposed to have more games this past weekend, but those were all washed away, or I guess you'd say colded away by the weather. So, but the Central is supposed to be back in action Monday at home against West Jessamine. So after that tough loss to Madison Central in the season opener, the Lady Eagles of Madison Southern were also right back in action on Thursday night, and they bounced back in a big way, picking up a 16-1 win at home over Powell County. Had 8 hits, drew 10 walks. Every starter had a hit or scored a run. Kaylee Goss picked up the complete game victory, allowing just 2 hits and 1 walk with 3 strikeouts. Ashlyn Estep walked 3 times and scored twice. Belle Strunk was 1 for 2 with a double and 3 RBIs. And Kaylee Goss also had a double and 3 RBIs. And afterwards, we got a chance to talk to Coach Carter and Jada Carter. All right, we're here at Madison Southern High School, where the Lady Eagles have picked up a 16-1 win over Powell County in 3 innings. Jada Carter, Coach Carter. And Coach, so yesterday, obviously, you lost your season opener, but great thing about softball is you get to come right back out the next day. Your kids refocused and put together a really good game.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely to come out. They came out with a positive attitude today. Even though they didn't go our way, the kids came out and they responded in a good way today. They did a lot of things that we talked about. They was patient at the plate and found good pitches to hit, and they hit the ball extremely hard today. Something that we didn't do yesterday, but this is the growing, it's a long season, so just very proud of the way that they responded today.
Yeah, Jada, how did you guys kind of regroup there? I mean, obviously you lose a big rivalry game like that, but you guys look like you didn't bother you at all.
Yeah, yesterday was a little nervous, first game of the season, especially against Central. So I think we just came together and we're like, we're going to be more positive and more upbeat and be behind each other more and have more fun. And when you have more fun, you're more relaxed and you just end up doing better altogether.
Yeah, you got 2 in the first, so that had to kind of loosen you guys up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. It gave us that energy we needed going into the second inning.
And Coach, you guys drew 10 walks. You guys actually had more walks than hits, so you got to be proud of the way your hitters approached.
Yes, and that's one thing that I told them. We have to when we get good pitches to hit, we need to drive them. But we also need to make the pitches. We need to make the pitches work. We need to make them give us good pitches. If they're not going to give us good pitches, we don't need to chase balls. That's one of my rules. Is when we have 1 strike and no strikes, we're not chasing. We're trying to wait on our pitch, and they did a great job of that tonight.
Yeah, Kaylee was on in the circle today and did a pretty good job.
She did a good job today. She did a better job, a pretty good job of hitting her spots, and that's something we've been focused on. Is that our pitches something that we struggled with last year some, but we're really working on it this year and focusing on it better this year, hitting our spots, and hopefully we can continue to grow in that area. That just makes us an even tougher team, and that gives us more chance, opportunities to win.
Yeah, big triple there, Jada.
Yeah.
Almost went out, right?
Almost. Hit the eagle on the fence. Yeah, definitely for me, I've been struggling a little bit hitting. I've been rolling my hands over and stuff like that. So just working on my mechanics and focusing on that, like the small stuff, definitely helped me get that big hit today. Otherwise.
All right. Well, congratulations, and hopefully we get some games in this weekend. But with Mother Nature, we'll see. TBA, I guess.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right. 1-1 on the season for the Lady Eagles, and they're back in action Monday at home against Lafayette. Berea Community Softball team opened up the season last week with a pair of games on the road. Wednesday, a 14-2 loss at Garrett County, and Thursday, a 9-5 loss at Lynn Camp. In the loss to Lynn Camp, Taylor Johnson had a home run. Cora Reed was 2 for 4 with a run scored, and Cadence Bertato 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Lady Pirates are back in action Tuesday, once again on the road. Moving on to high school baseball, Madison Central got 3 games in this past week, playing in some chilly conditions, but 3 road games, 3 victories. Wednesday 7-4 at Somerset, Thursday 12-2 at Danville, and Friday 5-1 with a win over Eastern up in Louisville. Against Somerset in the season opener, 10 hits, 5 extra base hits. Keith Stewart and Gunnar Rodas with 2 hits each. Freshman Grant Beck picking up the win on the mound. 4 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, and 5 strikeouts as the Indians won the season opener. And then a day later against Danville in a 5-inning victory, Gunnar Rodas and Keith Stewart both homered, and Sam Coleman picked up the win on the mound. And then against Eastern, Central had only 3 hits, but Landon Broadus was 1 for 2 with 2 runs, and Eli Metcalf picked up the win on the mound as the Indians move to 3-0. And they'll be back in action Monday at Sayre. Madison Southern's baseball team got a pair of games in this past week as well, both at home, both of them losses. Thursday 6-2 to South Laurel, and Saturday 12-4 to Walton Verona. In the loss to South Laurel, it was Caleb Cobb and Carson Livers with 2 hits each. And against Walton Verona, Madison Southern had 7 hits. Zach Hudson was 2 for 4, scored twice, and Hayden Kane was 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Eagles 0-2 on the season, back in action Monday at North Laurel. And the Berea Community Pirates baseball team opened up their season on Wednesday with 15-0 loss to Sayre up in Lexington. Did not have a hit in this game. It was just a 3-inning game. Cameron Thompson and Billy Strife both pitched for the Pirates. 0-1 on the season, and the Pirates are set to return to action Monday at Bath County. High school tennis this past week, Madison Central had a couple of home matches. On Tuesday, they were swept at home by Lexington Catholic 4-1 and 4-1. And then on Thursday, they split a match with Tate's Creek, the girls picking up a 3-2 win, and the boys suffering a 3-2 loss. In that match with Tate's Creek, the Indians and Lady Indians both won all 4 of the doubles matches. On the boys' side, Reese Speller and Alex Michaela picking up a win, Foster Banks and James Grant picking up a victory. On the girls' side, Emily Barney and Amanda Beal picking up a win, and Piper Wash and Carolyn Christian picking up doubles wins. Central back in action on Tuesday against East Jessamine over at Top Seed, which is in Lexington. All right. And Madison Mavericks lacrosse team, we mentioned them at the top of the show, and you're going to hear a lot more about them here in just a minute. But they also opened their season this past week on Tuesday, a 19-8 loss to to Tate's Creek. And then on Friday, a 19-10 win over Scott County. Both those games took place at Madison Southern. In the season opening loss to Tate's Creek, it was Daniel Pennington, Everett King, and Keaton Lopez with 2 goals each. And then on Friday, in the win over Scott County, it was Pennington with 6 goals and Grady Browne with 5 goals and 3 assists. 1-1 for the Mavericks. They're back in action Tuesday against Dunbar in a game that will be played over at Madison Southern. NASP state tournament, and of course NASP is National Archery in the Schools program. State tournament was this past weekend up in Louisville, and in the high school division it was Model Lab taking second place with a total of 3,388 points, just edging out Madison Central for third, which finished in third place, 3,381 points. Bullitt Central took the state title. But for model, the top shooter was Rebecca Smith. She shot a 292.22, which tied her for, which was 4th among all high school girls. Ruth Rogers at 291.21. She was 7th among all high school girls. And then for Madison Central, Lily Dixon, a 290.22. She finished 10th among all high school girls as well. This competition also has middle school and high school and elementary divisions. And if you go to richmondregister.com, we've got a complete rundown of all the local teams here from Madison County who competed in this. And so if you want to check that out, richmondregister.com. Moving on to EKU sports for the week. And earlier today, in case you missed it, considering it started at 11 a.m. down in Daytona, Florida, but EKU taking on Cleveland State in the opening game of the Tire Discounter College Basketball Invitational Tournament, the CBI. And it was definitely a dramatic game. EKU trailed by 13 points in the second half, forced overtime, and then pulled away in the extra session for a 91-75 win over Cleveland State. 17-1, EKU outscored Cleveland State in the overtime, including scoring the final 15 points of the overtime. That was a first-round game, and the win moves EKU to 21-13 on the season, and they'll be right back in action for a second-round game tomorrow against the number 1 seed in the tournament, Indiana State. That game will be at noon You can get the live feed on flowhoops.com, or of course our friends locally here at 100.7 The Coyote will have that live feed with Greg Stottlemyre on the call. So, that's a free plug for those guys. So there you go. EKU baseball and EKU softball both opened up ASUN play this past week with a home series against league opponents. The baseball team was taking on in-state rival Bellarmine, and the Knights took 2 out of 3 from the Colonels. On Friday, it was a 6-5 victory for the Knights. On Saturday, a 15-5 victory, and then the Colonels salvaged the series finale with an 8-0 victory on Sunday. 8-11 on the season now for the Colonels. 1-2 in ASUN play, and they will take on the University of Kentucky Tuesday up in Lexington. EKU softball opened ASUN play with a matchup with powerhouse Liberty earlier in the week. These games were moved up because of the bad weather, and Liberty swept the series on Wednesday, a 7-3 victory, and then on Thursday, a 9-1 victory and a 5-0 victory. EKU was out hit 28-10 in the series as they fall to 15-11 and 0-3 on the season in the ASUN, and the Colonels will be back in action Tuesday at home against Louisville. So, got a ton of stuff coming up for you this week. All kinds of good stuff. Every sport you can imagine. I made a list, and it's about this long. So we'll be out there every night trying to get to as much stuff as we can to get you as many pictures and videos and interviews and everything we can. So, but stick with us, because coming up, we're going to talk to Coach Wes Browne and his Madison Mavericks.
Miller's Tire and Auto Care. Need to hire experienced technicians, oil change, tire technician, tow truck drivers, exceptional benefits and pay. Drop your resume off at Miller's Tire on the Big Hill Avenue location. The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by MetroNet, super fast internet, simply a better connection. Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. Wynn's Auto Detailing Service. Platinum Roofing, Solar and Green Solutions. Voted Richmond's best roofer 7 years in a row. And by kymedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms. Stack of the week.
Here with IHOP and partner Destination Athlete, presenting Stephen Whitehead with Southern's first ever IHOP Stack of the Week. You get your t-shirt, 52 weeks of free pancakes, and your IHOP gift card. Great job.
Thank you.
I'm Brian Bertrand, the head wrestling coach at Madison Southern. Stephen had a fantastic year this year. First in region, first at semi-state, and with a 50-0 record going into the finals. Fell short a little bit, but second state overall is a fantastic year, so we're very proud of him.
Great.
Stack of the week.
Welcome to the intramural fields at Eastern Kentucky University, and we are joined by Madison Mavericks lacrosse coach Wes Browne, back again for your second stint as the head coach.
Yep.
And we're here today for a little lacrosse 101, and you're gonna take you through some of the finer points of what's a really growing sport here in Kentucky and all across the nation. And first of all, you brought some players with us, so I want to introduce who you got with us today.
Keaton Lopez, Jake Marino, Chris Curry, Grady Brown, Aiden Muntz. Fellas,
All right. Here in a minute, they're going to show us some stuff, and we're going to start off with.
grab your helmets.
We're going to start off with walking you through some basics of the game. It's 10 players on the field for each team: 3 midfielders, 3 attackers, 3 defenders, 1 goalie.
Correct.
4 guys with long sticks, and 4 12-minute periods. You can only have 6 guys in the offensive zone at any time, or the defensive zone, either way.
Correct. Yep.
And we'll walk through a little bit more of the offsides and stuff in a minute, but it's an exciting sport. It's for folks who don't know it, it's got some very unusual rules, I guess you would say.
Yeah. So the old slogan is the fastest game on two feet. It's actually originally a Native American game. It's America's oldest sport. It has been geographically spreading a lot here recently, and we're actually very close to sanctioning with KHSAA. We have to have 42 teams, and we're there. It wasn't done this year, but we're hoping it'll be done next year. It'll be in our local high schools. But what you have here is a collection of kids from multiple local high schools. We've got Madison Southern, Madison Central, and Bourbon County represented right here on this field.
Yeah, you also have kids from Model, from Lexington as well.
Yep, Model, and we have one from the Latin School in Lexington. Fellas, let's move the ball around a little bit. Let's show them a little bit of passing and catching real quick. Find a partner and let's move the ball.
Well, obviously, just looking at these guys right here.
Hey, Chris, let me warm you up a little bit. Come on with me. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Our goalie warmed up is one of the first things we do. It's a little cold and windy.
Yes.
We're gonna go pretty light.
All right.
So normally there'd be a circle on the goal to crease, but we're not in a situation where we can paint that on this turf today. But Chris will be in his ready stance, and we'll just throw some easy shots at him. He will step into the ball.
Can we actually try this?
Yeah, you want to shoot?
Sure.
I'd make it as short as possible. You'll have a better outcome. Here comes.
Oh.
All right, save. So we'll just work different areas. One of the big things, especially on turf, is we shoot bouncers, and he'll come attack that. The wind is really affecting things. You got a lot of different shots. You got the sidearm that he's got to deal with. Of course, the overhand we're not going to go real hard. There's the low to low. He'll knock those down. And a lot of times, so when the goalie gets a save, you get into what's called the clear. So if it's a clear, he'll save a shot and he'll call. And then his teammates are going to fan out, and they're going to look to get the ball across the field. What the defense does, well, it's actually your offensive players are doing. It's called the ride, and that's where it's kind of like a full court press, and they try and keep the players from getting it across midfield. So that's the kind of in a nutshell how all that works. Let me get the guys to show you some different ways of shooting. Come on over, fellas. So let's get Keaton. You want to show him an overhand shot? Get in close. Let's not miss.
Don't want to have to go get the balls.
Take whatever shot you want, bud. Just show him. This is going to be a basic overhand crank. He went pretty easy on it. Let's. Marino here loves his sidearm shot, so let's show him the sidearm. Let's really. Oh, and here, wait. That's why we don't have him take too many.
Oh,
come on, Marino. You got to make one. Put some pace on it. There you go. That's actually good placement. Aiden Muntz is going to show us an overhand shot. The long poles typically are defensive, but if they get loose, they can take that.
There you go. Pick that
Jake,
corner.
let's feed Grady one curling around from what. So the area behind the goal is referred to as X. Grady's our primary X, but he's not always at X. But you can actually attack the goal from behind, kind of like in hockey. So one of the things he'll do is if he can catch the ball on the fly and get by his defender, he'll catch it on the fly and he'll elevate. And that what he took was a bouncer. Bouncers give the goalie a hard time because of the level change is real sudden. So they'll be dropping down and sometimes it'll pop over them, that sort of thing. Yeah. You guys want to show them a little action, live play? So what we do, normally it's going to be 6v6, and as you can see, we go light dark. Typically in practices, we always dress the defense in the dark uniform, so we're going to do that like normal. Yeah, hop in goal. So very often in practice, we will work with smaller numbers, and that's a way to work on individual offensive and defensive situations. Let's start with the ball up top. Let's get an eye form. Well, I guess we're in man. So the pole gives you a lot more range.
That's why the defenders usually have the long poles.
Yep. So like you said, up to 4, pretty much always 3. He's setting a pick. He's coming off that pick. He's looking for a cut to the crease. They're taking it kind of easy on each other. They're not totally padded up like normal. Let's work for a shot, guys. Let's show them something. So one thing we don't do, especially on a day like today, we don't crank on our goalie. A hard shot's called a crank, and we do go live sometimes, but for the most part, that ball is essentially like the same rubber that a tire is made out of. Yeah. And it is very hard. It's like getting hit with a piece of cement. It does not feel good. And so we don't want him to take any unnecessary knocks in practice. That's a split dodge, and there he's coming for the lefty shot. That's a goal. So we can keep going with this if you guys want.
Sure. Well, let's talk about on a missed shot.
Okay.
Now this is where the X becomes very important.
Yeah. So you can see that rear line behind the goalie. When you shoot, come on, that's a little too easy. Sometimes when you try to take something off the shot, you don't get the velocity, and it'll kind of sail on you, which is what happened there. He's not trying to kill our goalie, so he took kind of a light shot and it'll go over the top. But hey, Jake, go to X for me. So the way this works, let's say Grady's dodging on Keaton here, and Jake's at X. Grady shoots. Let's miss. Chase. So that's called that. So he's chasing it to past the out of bounds line. He shot it kind of light. It didn't carry very far. But the way it works is whichever team has a player closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds. Oh, they're doing some work. He's kind of goofing off.
Yeah, whoever's closest to the ball gets possession of the ball.
Yes, whoever's closest to the ball keeps the ball.
Yeah.
So if someone in the dark penny is closer to the ball, and sometimes, so there's a chase. So in that scenario, Aiden Muntz, number 11, was close to the ball when it went out of bounds, so it would be dark ball. All right?
So
it doesn't count for passes.
Yeah.
If passes goes out, it's the last touch, like basketball.
Yeah, only on
but
the
it's only
shot.
On shots.
Which is why you see a lot of times when the
nice
ball is shot, even if the
dish
goalie is
and
the
finish.
closest person, the goalie sometimes will reach around the net
So
with their pole out.
Let me get another example of that. Let's take a decently hard shot at and miss it. Chris, let's show them what happens when there's no one at X and you pursue. Grady, I want you to chase, but let's let Chris. So there he goes. So that's what the goalie would do. And if the goalie's the furthest back, black retains possession of the ball. It doesn't have to start, though, with the goalie. One of his teammates can go pick it up. When you do clear, thank you. When you do clear, some of the really skilled long sticks are adept at clearing. But a lot of times, you want it in the short stick's hand because there's less stick to check.
All right.
There's a save.
Good save.
So if you notice, he steps into the ball when he saves it, and he'll pop it up and away. If you don't do that, it can spin the stick, or it can get in through momentum. There's a bouncer. That's a nice save right there.
Yeah.
So he took a bouncer. Let me get him another ball.
Here you go. When there's a crease, we're going to have one here.
Yep.
He's protected. Now he can come out of that crease.
Yes.
But then he's fair game. The guys can come up and whack him and play him as a player.
Yes, correct. And he's essentially like every other player once he comes out of that crease.
And they'll do that from time to time.
They will, and Chris is actually pretty good at it. Chris used to be a midi. The middies run all over the field. We didn't have a goalie coming back this year. This is Chris's senior year. He was someone that we identified as having the potential to be a good goalie. We've done that before, where we've converted a midi to goalie, and the nice part is on the clear, it's like having an extra midi in the clear. There we go.
Now, is it hard to pass with that bigger stick like that, or is it easier, or is it just an acquired skill?
It's harder. A lot of the goalies get really good at it. You can see Chris picked that up. He's pretty accurate with his passes. A lot of goalies aren't that accurate.
Yeah.
So
okay, well, let's talk about offsides too. Like I said, you only have six players on each side of the field, and literally there's a point in the middle, and you can't have more than that across there. So talk about offsides.
So you can only have 6 players. Well, in the defensive end, that doesn't count the goalie. You can only have 6 field players on either side. The middies typically go end to end. We were talking about how you can have up to 4 long poles. The 4th one is what we call the long stick midi. Oh, that was a good catch. The 4th one is what we call a long stick midi, and that gets you to 4. any player with any stick can cross midfield. That includes your goalie. There are occasions where a goalie will clear it. I mean, we don't want to see that very often, but it can happen.
Yeah.
And
certainly if you're down late, like almost like pulling a goalie in
late,
hockey.
and yeah, sometimes it's when a team's way up. It's kind of a showboating thing. They got one. But anyway, as long as there's only 6 across the field, you're okay. So there's a lot of ways you can finesse that and make it tricky for your opponents by the way you substitute and that sort of thing. But fellas, so you're no longer a lot. Yeah, theirs is standing straight up.
Yeah.
You used to be able to put a knee on the ground. You're not allowed to do that anymore. It's now done hands up. You also they also changed it to, you used to be able to grip it differently. They used to have they call the motorcycle grip. That's now no longer legal. Now you got to do what? Go ahead and say it.
Standard grip.
Yep, standard grip. So neither one of these guys are our face-off guy, but they have both done it. So we're going to show you a face-off real quickly. So the official will call down, set, go. Gets it out. Now when he gets that out, you've got guys on what are called the wings. They come from either side. So ultimately, you'll have 3 guys from each team fighting over that ball in a even personnel situation.
It's not very often somebody wins it clean off the face-off.
The really good ones do more, but yeah, no, that's what you want, but you don't necessarily. A lot of times, it's kind of a big scrum. You want that shorty for a minute? All right. He took my shorty. Everybody. So Aiden is actually relatively new at the long stick. He was a short stick. He was basically a short stick defensive midfielder. Okay, hey, that's 10 push-ups. That's 10. You know the rules. If you go, come on, Muntz, let's see it. In practice, if you hit your own goalie in the head with the shot, it's 10 push-ups. So we do push-ups for a lot of different things out here, and that's one of them. So the kids, they're getting some strength training out here because of usually some sort of small mistake. Anyway, a lot of these kids play multiple sports or played other sports.
Yeah. You got a wrestler out here. Not here today, but he's on the team.
Yep. Yeah. We've had a couple that have wrestled. We have basketball. We have a lot of football. We've had kids who played soccer who did this also. I had a kid who played soccer 4 years. In his senior year, he came out and he was completely dedicated to soccer. And at the end of the season, he said, "Man, I wish I played lacrosse sooner." And his parents said that too. They said the games were a lot more fun to watch just because there's a lot of scoring. Our game last night, we won 19-10. The ball, they're not all high scoring like that, but they can be kind of high scoring. Yeah. And it's just fun.
It's exciting. Yeah, it's fast paced. And that's kind of why we wanted to be out here today. If people kind of understood the sport more, maybe they'd be a little bit more interested in going out there. Because I know the first time I came out to one of your games, I looked around and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And so it took me a while to and I'd ask a lot of people, you, your wife, and some of the parents, and lots of people just kind of, hey, what's this and what's that? And so, obviously just trying to learn it a little bit. So that's why we're glad we're out here today. But back to the face-offs, though, because they're very important because that's after every goal or at the beginning of each quarter. So that's to get that possession.
Yes,
is a big deal because if you got a good face-off person, you can win the possession almost every time.
Yeah, you can dominate a game through possession on face-offs, and the clearing and riding are very important, especially clearing. If you can't clear the ball and get it in the offensive end, you're in trouble. Yeah. Unfortunately, we've had 4 of our first 6 games got canceled. One was the windstorm. One was because the turf at Lafayette wasn't ready. 2 of them were teams that just couldn't play the game. One of them rescheduled, one of them didn't. It's just been wild. So we played our first game against a team that was playing its 5th game, and we struggled with possession. We were kind of green still, and so that was a tough opener for us because we didn't have much possession. And our face-off guy that we thought was coming back is our wrestler. He's hurt.
Okay.
We had
Nardelli?
Yep. We had to, and I don't know that he's going to play at all this year. So we had to take 2 kids who did not face off. We brought in a face-off coach to work with them, and we trained 2 new face-off guys, and it was kind of a trial and error thing. But we had one of those kids. His name's Seth Toohey. He won 23 face-offs last night and lost 8. We'll see how he does against other competition, but hopefully we found a face-off guy.
Yeah.
So consequently, though, our second game when we won all those face-offs, we did a heck of a lot better than our first game when we were really struggling.
Well, let me ask you about something that I'm still a little bit confused about. And even the other night when I was at the Tates Creek game, penalties.
Yes.
And the length of the penalty, and you have non-releasing penalties, and there's a difference there. So give us a little thumbnail about what the different kind of penalties are, what the length of the penalties are.
So penalties can go up to 3 minutes, although that's really rare. A releasable penalty, and they're as short as 30 seconds. A non-releasable is typically for some sort of violent contact to the head and neck area. Any violent contact to the head or neck area can be 2 to 3 minutes non-releasable. There's some discretion.
And the other team can score as many times as they want in that time.
Correct. On a non-releasable, the other team can score as many times as they want. On a releasable penalty, which is more your garden variety penalty, if the team that has the extra player scores, you get out of the penalty box. It's very, very similar to hockey. The difference being we don't call it a power play, we call it a man up or a man down if you're the one without a player. Although, here's a little known fact. The national sport of Canada is lacrosse.
Not hockey.
Not hockey. And so it was so strange to people from outside Canada that they named hockey the national winter sport. But lacrosse is extremely, extremely popular in Canada. They also play a game called box lacrosse, which is an indoor version that is a little bit different. What was my point in all this? They do actually call it power play up there. So the Premier Lacrosse League, which is really growing, that's the professional league that is really doing well and is now on ESPN and stuff. They call it a power play, and I'm convinced they do it just because people are more familiar with the term power play. Yeah. The other thing they've done in the PLL is they added a 3-point shot.
Oh.
They have a shot clock. We don't have a shot clock. You have a limited amount of time to get the ball across midfield. And technically, we just saw a goalie rip one. Technically, could do it, and that's why Jake. We're frowning on his sidearm as he's been whipping him over the goal lately. But he had. What did you have? 2 goals last night? Yeah. He had a pair of goals last night, so we're getting that straightened out. Keaton, you got a goal. Good job. Grady had 5.
And a couple of assists too. Well, 3 assists.
He had three assists. I think Keaton, you had an assist. I think he had 2. We had a lot of the kids who scored our points last night are here today. Nice. That's called top cheddar when you put it up there, or bar down.
Bar down. That's another hockey term.
So you will see a ton of that. There's a lot of crossover from hockey,
and a lot of the penalties are the same. Cross-checking.
Yep. Cross-check, roughing, or not roughing. I'm sorry, but illegal body check. That sort of thing. You can't push in the back.
Watch out.
That's called hitting post.
Iron unkind.
Really good players, they actually play a game where they try to hit the iron to show what their accuracy is.
Yeah, and you can actually check, but it's excessive body checking as you get to penalty for. There's some contact allowed.
Let's actually show some checks. Months. Let's show Grady set up and Jake. Let him show. We're not going to go full bore. Let's show a poke check. Yep, show a poke. What a poke check looks like. So this is a poke. He's doing it pretty light. In the game, they'll do it pretty hard. He can do a. Let's show him a lift. We do a lift where he tries to get under his arms and affect the way that he carries. Go left and let's see a slap check.
You can hit him pretty hard with the stick. You can
as long as you hit in the hands and stick, it's legal. You can't miss. And here's an interesting thing. Grady, one hand cradle for us real quick. Now he can't hit that arm because it's not considered part of the stick. Now he takes the stick, take it back. Now he can hit that arm. That's the rule. So a lot of times they'll let's show a one-handed cradle, get your elbow out, and they'll do that to protect their stick, and they'll cradle that way. Yeah. So those are some of the sort of things that you can do.
What they really frown on, though, is body-to-body contact, right?
Yes, yeah, and especially they've taken out the blindside checks. Keaton, can you show us how you play hips on an offensive player? So he's going to typically you're trying to drive him away from the goal. So we call the outsides the alley. Very often a short stick guy is trying to run a guy down the alleys. You never want someone to go right down Broadway at your goalie, okay? So that's how he would play that. Let's show a ground ball. Muntz, get one. Wait. There you go. Run and grab that. So that's getting one. Grady, grab one for us. Drop. This is a short stick ground ball. Ground balls are really big, and a lot of times they did them both in open field. A lot of times that'll be a massive melee and a wild scrum with sometimes you'll have 12 kids in on that thing.
It's difficult enough just to pick this thing up regularly, but then to do it with someone around you, like you said, butts, right? The butt of the stick and your butt. Get down.
Yep, we say get both butts down, and that means here's the butt of the stick and then your body. You get both butts down, and it's easier to scoop it. The closer to parallel you have it. I mean, there's a point where it's too low, but the kids you'll see struggle, they'll have the stick like this, 45 degrees, and they'll throw it. Yeah. And the kids who are successful at it, scoop it. Hold on, I'm shooting. I missed.
Now we got you on camera missing now. The whole world's going to see that one. So.
Oh, it happens a lot. Well, you missed a good shot. You don't want to watch me. Every lacrosse coach I know is always dying for their chance to take a shot. I didn't play this game growing up. I was interested in it, but we didn't have it. Mm-hmm. I started playing when I was 40. And it helps coach quite a bit because I understand the game a lot better, but I play in Lexington and like the indoor leagues and stuff like that, and then the pickup games and that sort of thing. And I'm typically the worst player there, but it's fun. I played football.
At least you know your limitations.
Yeah. I mean, I played football into college, and I played multiple sports growing up and played 3 in high school. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I had more fun than I do playing this. I love to play lacrosse, and that's really common. Mm-hmm. Sam Hubbard from the Cincinnati Bengals, who returned that big fumble recovery in the playoffs. He was a lacrosse player. He committed to Notre Dame, and he got real big late, and he got an offer from Ohio State, and he still says, I had the most fun in my life playing lacrosse. It's more fun than football. So and you can play both. That's one of the things we struggle with a little bit. Coaches are protective of their players, and they want them to play their sports, but it's better for the kids to play multiple sports. So we really encourage the lacrosse kids to play multiple sports. We have some kids who play football, but it's always a push-pull with that sport and other sports. So if we can get multi-sport athletes out, the other thing is the conditioning and the agility and the all of that goes with it is really high level in lacrosse. The kids run for 2 hours, and they don't care. They don't mind. They're getting after it. Oh, Jake, you missed it. Jake just ripped a nice sidearm. Finally.
All right, well, you guys 1-1 on the season with a bunch of cancellations. What's up next for you guys?
So we have Dunbar at Madison Southern on Tuesday night at 7. We were supposed to play at EKU today.
Right here today.
Today, and we had a cancellation. It would have been the first high school lacrosse game ever held in Richmond, Kentucky, and didn't happen. Our normal home field is Madison Southern's field. They've been really good to us over the years, and we've played most of our games there, except there was, and we were the Road Warriors one year during the pandemic. I wasn't the coach, but they couldn't play any home games. They couldn't get any home field time. But we're back at Madison Southern. Ooh, that was a nice rip. Let's see it. That's a nice rip. And all right, Jake, this is your chance, man. We're wrapping up. You better hit. No pressure.
Rip it.
There you go. Good job. Good job. We're at Lafayette Friday night, and I'm trying to think of who else we have before spring break.
It's on MadisonMavericks.com if people
want to check it out. It is, MadisonMavericks.com. It's all there. We're also on, of course, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yeah.
If you want to check it out, we have youth programs for kids 3rd through 5th grade. We have middle school. We're actually running conglomerate teams with Lexington schools this year for both at the middle school and youth level. But we've got kids all the way up from 3rd grade.
Boink. That thing will come back on you quick, man.
Yeah, you can tell, and I think you can hear when it hits. Nice. So, I don't know.
So
That's what's
anyone's
coming up.
interested, you can reach out through the website, right?
Yep,
Or
you
through any
sure
of the social
can.
media
Yep.
sites. And,
Yep.
obviously, this year is already underway, but if anybody in the future is interested in doing this,
I will tell you, we'll add new players at any time.
Okay.
Anytime someone wants to learn and play lacrosse, we say, come on in.
Yeah.
Now, you might not get in a game. Well, although I'd put anybody in a game. If we're winning by enough or we're losing by enough, you're probably going to get in the game no matter what. But we're looking for athletes all the time. And quite frankly...
Oh, behind the back.
Oh, you said a train would come if we did it here. There's our train.
Oh, it's only a short one. That was a long one, yeah. Wait till the very end, but there comes the train.
Yep. So one of the things we talk about though is the sooner you start playing, there's a lot of muscle memory to develop. So if you guys are seeing a lot of balls sail by in a game situation, we don't mind that because as long as there's someone at X, we get it back. So we encourage them to take.
Yeah.
We encourage them to hit the corners. That's what we want to hit. We don't want them to hit the middle of the goal. But anyway, it's a lot of muscle memory. The sooner you start, the sooner you're going to be ready to go. So if you wanted to play next year, you'd be better off coming out now and starting to develop, because if you wait, you're not going to get all that. You're not going to have what you need.
Yeah.
There you go.
If anybody's interested, come out and watch a game. You might like it. It's like I said, it's very fast paced. It's very entertaining.
18 and under get into all our games free, at least our home games. I can't speak for some of our away games, but we've made a point to let people who are in school get in free.
Yeah.
And we're just excited to get you guys out here.
It's fun, man. Like I said, this is it's like I said, both me and Randy we're talking about it. We really don't know much. We're not really experts on this sport, but it's a lot of fun. And
one of the things that I think you've taken some pictures of it. Photographers talk about the fact that lacrosse pictures are sort of naturally cool looking too.
Oh yeah.
Some of the motions that you see in lacrosse.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time. I'm sorry the game got canceled today, but we were going to do this after the game, but there was no game, so we still came out anyway. And it's a little bit cold, but of course these kids, that doesn't bother them at all. They got shorts on over there.
They definitely
ought to be young again like that, right?
They definitely had more energy. I'll say that. They've got energy to burn today, so that's good.
All right.
All right, fellas.
Appreciate the time.
Hey, say bye to your moms. Thanks for coming out.
Oh, I appreciate it. Appreciate you setting everything up for us.
Oh, wait. That's also an etiquette thing from lacrosse,
right.
And probably the world, but you never shake hands with your glove on.
Oh, okay.
A lot of kids do, and I that's one of the things I holler at the end of every game. Get your right glove off, guys.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
There you go.
Hey!
I think Randy is still frozen from being out there on Saturday afternoon. But we still had a great time. And did you even put that clip in there of me actually trying to shoot the Absolutely. Hey, I shot twice and I made one, so there you go. Right. I did. It wasn't thrown very hard though. But lacrosse is a very interesting sport. I've learned a lot, and like I said in the video, it's definitely growing here in Madison County and all across Kentucky. So, and like Wes said in the video, will likely be KHSAA sanctioned at some point in the future. So, we were very happy to hang out with those guys, and that one kid was out there in shorts, man, crazy. But we appreciate Wes. We appreciate all the players. And unfortunately, their game on Saturday was canceled. We were gonna do that little thing right after the game they had scheduled, but then the game got scheduled, so we just did that. And we had a lot of fun with it, even if Randy kept complaining about it.
Hey, God bless them for showing up anyway.
It was very nice. But that'll wrap up this week's edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. We'll be back next Sunday at 9 o'clock with a brand new episode. And, of course, the best way to keep up with sports in Madison County is on Twitter at Richmond R Sports, on Facebook at Register Sports, and RichmondRegister.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Miller's Tire and Auto Care. Need to hire experienced technicians, oil change, tire technician, tow truck drivers, exceptional benefits and pay. Drop your resume off at Miller's Tire on the Big Hill Avenue location. The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by MetroNet, superfast internet, simply a better connection. Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. Wynn's Auto Detailing Service. Platinum Roofing, Solar and Green Solutions. Voted Richmond's best roofer 7 years in a row. And by kymedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms. Thanks for watching the Richmond Register Sports Show. For more information about all things sports in Madison County, log on to richmondregister.com or on Twitter. And like us, Register Sports on Facebook. Get the Richmond Register directly to your mailbox or get the app online and visit richmondregister.com.